Hi guys, this is Malph, and thank you for watching Malph's Affliction Warlock Guide for Cataclysm. For some of you who don't know me, I have 13 level 85s, and I have Warlocks on both the Horde and the Alliance. The faction doesn't matter, the class is the same. And we start with stats. We start with Intellect. Intellect is the most important stat that you can have. It trumps everything else. So you want to keep that in mind when we get to gems. You're going next to your hit, and then haste, then mastery, and then crit. Mastery is pretty good for affliction, but we keep it in that order. Then we talk about your spec. The one thing you're not going to spec into is improve fear, unless there's a situation you could use it. Okay, but you do want to keep your panic button, and that is Howl of Terror. The idea is to get Shadow Embrace on the target. You get Shadow Embrace on the target, everybody's damage goes up. Okay, and then you want to spec a little bit in Demonology, a little bit into Destruction, and you can look this up on the Armory. Just look me up and you can see it. Glyphs, very important stuff. Okay, the mastery glyphs for Warlocks kind of suck, but the prime glyphs are pretty good. And for the prime glyphs, what you want is you want Unstable Affliction, you want Bane, and you want Haunt. And then for the mastery, okay, the main ones, major glyphs, you want Soul Swap, you want Shadow Bolt, and you want Glyph of Fear. Glyph of Fear is very important for raid groups in CC, because when you fear the target, it won't go running all over the place. It'll stay right where it's at. Okay? Minor glyphs don't matter. You can get whatever you want to. I happen to have Drain Soul, Underwater Breathing, and whatnot. Okay? Glyph of Kilrock's pretty fun because, and it's a minor glyph, because you can fly all over the place with the little Eye of Kilrock. And I have all the glyphs on the right hand side. Now Blizzard changes these things on a whim, but I have a scribe, and if you're not lucky enough to get that, you know, just focus on the main ones. Gems and enchants in Cataclysm. Enchants are kind of sucky, but gems, the important thing to remember is magic number 10. On any piece of gear that you get, if the socket bonus is 10 intellect or less, then you ignore the socket bonus and you gem Brilliant Infernal Ruby. That's all you do. Okay? Don't worry about anything else. Okay? So, again, if it's 10 or less, you just gem the red gem. If it's 10 or more, then you maybe want to worry about the socket bonus a little bit, depending on what it is. Okay? And you can see in some pieces of my gear, I don't have a socket bonus. And some people would freak out and say, "Oh, what the hell are you doing?" You know, that's not the case. You know, you want to focus on intellect. That is the most important stat for your DPS. Okay? Remember, your job in a raid is to do damage to a mob. That is your job. Okay? So you want to have as much intellect as you can. Alright? And follow that by hit. And I've enchanted in a similar fashion. Unless there's no other choice, like for boots, there's like haste and then mastery and whatnot, and you pick your poison. Power Torrent is the enchant to have on a weapon for Cataclysm. I don't have it yet, mainly because I plan on getting a better weapon. And that's a heavy investment. Let's talk about rotation. What are you going to do when you face a boss? First thing you're going to do is throw up Shadow Bolt and Haunt. That puts 2 points of Shadow Embrace on the target. Now you're going to put Unstable Affliction, and then you're going to go boom boom, Corruption, and Bane of Doom or Bane of Agony. Then you're going to debuff the boss with Curse of Elements or something like that, maybe Curse of Weakness on Halphus. Okay, and then you're going to go 3 Shadow Bolts, boom, boom, boom. Then Haunt again. That puts your 3 stacks of Shadow Embrace on the target, Unstable Affliction, and just rinse and repeat. And you keep that going. And you're going to fill with Shadow Bolts, usually 3 or 4, before you have to reapply dots, until 25%, and then you're going to drain the soul. Okay? Now, you're never, in any raid that I've been in, except for Patchwork, going to stand there and wail away on its target. That's just not going to happen. Okay? The reality is you're going to be moving around, things are going to be a little bit crazy. The green buff you see right there, yeah, that's part of your Warlock spec. Check it out. Alright? But basically what you want to do is be aware of what's going on around you. Keep maintaining your dots and your rotation up. And then, I take that back. In Baron on Hold, you can pretty much stand there until Fell Flame comes up and then you move around. At no time in any fight are you going to stop casting. So you want to move. Don't stand in the fire, and for God's sake, do not life tap in the fire. Your healers are going to hate you forever. Okay? And while you're moving around, you got a spell called Fell Flame, and that could be very useful to you. You never stop casting. I don't care if you're moving or you're not moving. If you want your DPS to be where it should be, you never stop casting. and you follow through. And you don't clip your dots. Okay, you let them run the rotation. Okay, all right. So that's a regular boss target. Now, when the boss is less than 25%, that's when your eradication kicks in. You're going to turn all purpley and shadowy, and the effect looks kind of neat. Okay, so let's say I'm DPSing this boss and he's getting close to 25%, 27, 26. Everybody's willing to win this boss. They're like, yeah, we got this, we got this. Now you really got it, because once eradication kicks in, you hit that drained soul. What happens is your DPS goes right through the roof, and you can see on the right hand side my damage that I'm doing with drained soul. AoE is kind of skill related. You've got to hit your soul burn, and that goes a nice little effect. You hit your Seed of Corruption, that puts corruption on every target in the area, and then you rain of fire. Why? Because an additional sock will erase the corruption, and you didn't do anything worthwhile. This is little Malvicious on Khaz Modan. Here you're going to see her in action. She's going to be using the same rotation against a mob. Of course, you guys have seen these before if you've done Therzane dailies. Okay? And you'll always have your Void when you're out questing. I don't care what you think. You always have your Void. He's got a nice little panic button called Sacrifice for you, and he holds aggro pretty good. And, of course, Malvicious needs it because she tends to screw up, just like me, and she pulls more than one mob. Well, what do you do if you pull more than one mob? Well, a neat little trick is called Soul Swap. That's another little spell that you have. If you're glyph for it, what you do is you pull the dots off of one target and put them on the next target. Okay? And if you've glyphed for it, what will happen is the dots will stay on the original target. And you dot and move. You don't stand still. If you stand still, you die. Okay? You dot and move, you tab target, you manage your minion. Okay, notice that I'm sending my Void against all these different targets at different times, and I'm not going to stand in the fire of that spike that comes out of the ground that these worms do. I'm going to be aware of what's going on around me and watch what's happening. When you're in a raid group, I don't care if you're in PvP or not, you're going to put Dark Intent on a healer, preferably a druid, but any healer will do that has heals over time. Okay, and just some general things to remember in raid that we all take for granted. First of all, we're working as a team. Put any personal differences aside and whatnot, and help each other out. Okay, see that druid die? That was me. Thank you very much. Alright, here's a warrior. Okay, what am I going to do? He's beating up on these guys. That warrior is actually pretty good, and he's done a lot of damage. He's going to do that Blade Storm nonsense. Well, if you look at his debuffs, you'll see the first spell I cast on him was to help other people, and that was Curse of Weakness. And that makes warriors little bitty babies in battlegrounds. And it also makes Halphus or any other boss a little bit weaker against your casters. Okay, and it eats paladins up. Okay, and if you do all those things and you work together and you communicate, then you win. Okay, bottom line. By the way, this one happened to be Arathi Basin against one of the guildmates in Celestial. I do apologize for creaming you so hard, but you really shouldn't try and solo Blacksmith when there's 5 of us there. Okay? And that's basically it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any questions, please contact me. Bye.